It was a calm Friday evening, and I was relaxing with three of my closest friends around a glowing fire pit. The laughter was easy, the air warm, a beer resting in my hand. For the first time in a long while, everything felt quiet, normal. Then my phone buzzed. I glanced down. The name on the screen, Tessa, wife. That was odd. We had spoken earlier that afternoon, and nothing had seemed off. Still, I picked up, smiling a little. "Hey, babe, everything all right?" Her voice was icy, deliberate, and laced with smug amusement. "Don't babe me," she said flatly. "I'm just calling to let you know I'm divorcing you. It's done. I'm filing Monday." I froze. The fire still crackled behind me, but inside, everything stilled. I hadn't even processed her words before she barreled ahead. "Oh, and in case you're wondering, I sold our business. Completely. The deal's already closed and the payments cleared. I'm taking my share and starting over with Derek. Derek, my former business partner, a man I once considered family." She laughed. This cruel, gleeful sound that didn't belong to the woman I thought I knew. "You were always too obsessed with the systems and the spreadsheets, Michael," she said mockingly. "You never saw what was happening right next to you." My friends had all turned quiet, their eyes fixed on me. I felt the fire's warmth on my face and the sudden, unfamiliar chill crawling down my spine. I took a slow sip of my beer, then replied evenly, "Good for you." The silence on her end stretched. She was likely expecting outrage, accusations, maybe even begging. But she got none of it. I ended the call and looked at my friends. "I think I need to head home." Chapter 2. The look on her face. As I pulled into the driveway, my headlights lit up the house I had built myself, piece by piece. Every nail, every panel, every drop of sweat had gone into it. There she was. Tessa stood on the porch like she owned the world, arms folded, wine glass in hand, a smug little grin playing on her lips. Next to her leaned Derek, trying a little too hard to look relaxed, as if he'd always belonged there. "You got here fast," Tessa said mockingly. Didn't even bother begging me to stay. I gave her a glance, then turned to Derek. "Nice seeing you again, partner." He gave a short, mocking laugh. "You think we owe you a conversation?" I walked up the steps, sliding the key into the lock. "Not really. Just came to pick up a few things." Inside, the house looked like a storm had swept through. My office had been emptied out. The safe door hung open. She had wiped the joint accounts clean. Even my late father's watch, something I'd tucked away in the study, was gone. I walked back into the living room where Tessa now stood, hand on hip, a smirk plastered on her face. "You're not to throw a tantrum, are you?" she asked. I shrugged. "Why would I? You already sold the business, right?" "That's right," she said confidently. "And every document is legit. Derek's lawyer handled everything. Don't worry, you'll get your half, eventually." Derek chuckled, "Assuming you don't waste it all drowning in beer and tears." They laughed together like it was some grand joke. I smiled thinly. "Right. Just one question, though." Tessa raised an eyebrow. "What now? When exactly did you sign the sale contract?" She narrowed her eyes slightly. 2 days ago." "Why?" I grabbed a water bottle from the fridge, twisted the cap, and took a slow sip. "Because 3 days ago, I legally transferred all intellectual property and software rights into my name. Every bit of it. Quietly, officially, and fully documented." Tessa's smile cracked. Derek's jaw twitched. "What the hell are you talking about?" she snapped. I pulled a folded paper from my coat pocket and laid it gently on the kitchen counter. "This is a notarized document confirming the full transfer. The software, back-end systems, analytics, licensing, all of it, mine. So what you sold was just a shell." Tessa lunged forward, snatching the paper. Her eyes scanned it desperately. "No, this can't be right. I would have seen it." I tilted my head. "You were too busy sneaking around with Derek to notice." Chapter 3. The Real Meeting. The next morning, I walked into the headquarters of Price and Walton Holdings, the firm Tessa had sold our business to. Everything inside gleamed. Polished floors, cold air, a lobby that smelled like money. The receptionist looked up and instantly recognized me. "Mr. Carter, Mr. Price is expecting you." I followed her into a sleek, glass-paneled boardroom. At the head of the table sat Gregory Price, the man who had just spent a fortune buying what he believed was a thriving tech company. He didn't waste time. "You're here about the acquisition." I gave a polite nod and slid a leather folder onto the table. "I think your legal team will want to review these before finalizing anything." He flipped through the documents, his brow tightening with each page. I had prepared everything: ownership filings, patent records, user licensing contracts, infrastructure documentation, all showing that the actual operational core of the company belonged to me. When he reached the end, he closed the folder slowly, his lips pressed into a line. "So you're saying we bought a business with no real infrastructure behind it?" "Exactly," I said. "Every system, every line of code, every data stream and analytics tool, all tied to licensing agreements under my name." He leaned back in his chair, staring at me. "And your wife, she didn't know this?" I gave the smallest smile. She never cared about the legal details. She was only focused on the finish line. He studied me in silence for a long moment. Then he exhaled sharply. "All right, I assume you're not here just to gloat. What do you want?" "I'm willing to license the complete IP package back to your firm for 3 times the original sale price." His eyebrow lifted. "Triple? That's steep." "Consider it a penalty for due diligence failure," I said evenly, "or just a tax on betrayal." He tapped his pen on the folder. "You're ruthless." "Just smarter than they expected," I replied. He leaned in slightly, eyes sharp. "Let's make it official." While I was locking in the new licensing deal, back at my house, Tessa and Derek were lounging in the backyard, sipping mimosas, soaking in their supposed triumph. The smirks hadn't left their faces until her phone buzzed. She glanced at it casually, then froze. Email from Gregory Price. Subject: acquisition nullified. Body: assets misrepresented. Legal review initiated. Counsel will be in touch shortly. She barely had time to process it when a second notification popped up, this time from the IRS. Alert: account access restricted. Investigation launched into questionable financial activities. Her phone slipped from her grip, bouncing onto the patio stone. No, this can't be happening," she gasped, eyes wide with panic. Derek leaned forward, confused. "What the hell did you do?" She didn't answer. She just grabbed her car keys and stormed off. "I'm going to find him." Chapter 5: The Final Reckoning. She pounded on the glass door of my shared workspace like a storm rolling in, drawing the attention of everyone inside. "Michael, open the damn door." I didn't budge. I finished typing the final clause in my licensing agreement with Price's legal team, exchanged a nod with the receptionist, then calmly pressed the door release. Tessa burst inside like a wildfire. "What did you do?" she screamed. "You sabotaged the whole thing. My account are frozen, the sales collapsing, and Price's legal team is threatening fraud charges." I looked at her, really looked at her. Her once polished look was gone. Hair disheveled, eyeliner smudged beneath panicked eyes, her voice cracking from desperation. This wasn't the woman I once loved. That version vanished the moment she chose betrayal over loyalty. "You destroyed yourself, Tessa," I said evenly. "All I did was let gravity take its course." She clenched her jaw, trying to hold it together. "If this is about revenge, you got it. But at least give me something. Half the money, a piece of the company, anything." I walked to the filing cabinet, pulled out a sealed envelope, and placed it in her hand. "Here, this is what you're entitled to." She ripped it open like it held the key to salvation, only to find a familiar document inside. Our prenup, the one she proudly signed 5 years ago when she claimed she didn't care about money, only love. Bold and clear. Any enterprise, product, or proprietary asset created by Michael Carter before or during the marriage shall remain his exclusive property. Her face went pale. This version isn't what I signed. That's because Derek had the final draft removed from your files. I kept my signed copy and ensured the notary's record was legally filed. She staggered back, blinking rapidly. You're lying. Ask your lawyer. I replied, calm and firm. She opened her mouth, then stopped as a knock echoed at the door. 2 agents in suits stood at the threshold, badges raised. Tessa Carter, you've been served. This pertains to IRS investigations and charges of civil fraud. She looked at me with wide, terrified eyes. You turned me in? I shook my head, voice flat. No need. You signed the sale papers. I didn't. Chapter 6, The Downfall. Tessa fought back at first. Hired a high-end attorney. Brought in PR consultants. Even a crisis management firm. But once the story broke, there was no stopping it. The business world that once applauded her was now feeding on her collapse. Someone from her own circle had leaked damning messages, screenshotted chats between her and Derek where she mocked me, called me an idiot, and bragged about flipping both me and the company like discarded furniture. Within days, those messages went viral across LinkedIn, Reddit, and every entrepreneurial forum that mattered. One headline summed it all up. From founder fraud, how one CEO's greed cost her everything. Derek vanished. When Price and Walton's legal team came after them for restitution, Derek threw her under the bus without hesitation, blaming her for orchestrating the entire scheme. She was left alone, facing federal lawsuits, tax investigations, and internet that wouldn't forget. The empire she thought she'd build on my back had crumbled before it even stood. Her dream of playing power coupled with Derek, gone. The arrogance she once wore like perfume, now replaced by haunted silence. Chapter 7, Peace. While she scrambled to fix what couldn't be repaired, I chose peace. I turned down Price's consulting offer. I didn't want to be tied to that chapter anymore. Instead, I launched something new, smaller, sharper, built from scratch with lessons carved in fire. The licensing deal for my original IP left me financially set, but what mattered more was the stillness. No more suspicion. No more walking on emotional glass. One quiet evening, I sat at a neighborhood coffee shop, finalizing a new project proposal with someone who'd quietly become important, Emma. We had met months earlier at a niche tech conference. She was thoughtful, brilliant, honest. She never needed to step on others to feel tall. As I typed, my phone lit up. Unknown number. A voicemail came through. Her voice. Michael, it's me. I don't know where to go. I've lost everything. I was wrong. Just please call me. I stared at the screen for a moment. Then, without hesitation, I tapped block. Epilogue, the echo. I never saw her in person again. But occasionally, people would whisper about a woman spotted outside courthouse doors. Faded clothes, eyes once vibrant now dull by shame. At business mixers, someone would occasionally pull me aside and ask, "Hey, aren't you the guy whose ex tried to screw him over and got wrecked?" I'd smile. No, I'm the guy who saw it coming and let the fall happen on its own. Because in the end, karma needs no helper, just time.